this is actually the really, really cool part. So if you're leaving right now or something, when you guys get this replay, please, like, tears are almost in my eyes, come back and watch this part, because this is the money maker. That was ugly. Hold on, let me try it again. This is the money maker. Yeah, that was much better, much better. Okay, I'm gonna edit out the other one. Anyway, this is where you make the consistent cash, okay? This is the full stack sales funnel. TM, trademark for, you know, Ali and I are actually trademarking this because this is important. Okay, so we're gonna show it to you. So first step, and I'll actually highlight it while I'm talking about it so that we're all on the same page. Brilliant idea, if I do say so myself. All right, your first step. So imagine these as phases, layers, steps, whatever you want to call them. I'll probably refer to them as phases or stages. So imagine these as the 5 phases of your full stack sales funnel. So these feed into each other, hence the arrows: invite, sample, build, offer, solve. Let us explain them really quickly. This legitimately will change your business if you just put this together. Just put this together. So invite, this is, Ali and I like to just define a proper invitation as something that has 3 parts. It has a sender, which is you. It has a receiver, which is, let's say, me, your ideal client. And it has a clear call to action. Sender, receiver, and a specific thing I'm asking you to do, right? So there's a really important thing that most marketers miss, I think, when they're teaching marketing and they're teaching how to get more clients for your coaching business, blah, 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 blah. They completely miss the fact, in my opinion, that the way you go out and convert clients for your coaching business or consulting offer is going to be different based on whether you already have an audience established or not. So they're always telling you things like, do webinars, webinar. They have hype men telling you to do webinars. They are telling you, hey, just post it on your Instagram, do more stories. And you're like, okay, thanks. I have 32 followers. Or, okay, thanks. How am I going to get people to show up to this webinar? So Ali and I take great care, in my opinion, in my super humble opinion, in helping people who are saying, hey, listen, I just don't already have an audience built up. It's not a large audience, or, you know, in certain channels, I don't have any audience whatsoever. Can you still help me? And the thing is, if you believe that you can help people, if you offer true transformation for people, if the service you're providing is helpful and meaningful, the answer is yes. We absolutely can help you build from scratch. So some of you coming to one of the events in the cities, you may have an audience built up already. We help with that. But we frequently launch new projects of our own from scratch and are also here to help you if you don't have a large audience. So anyway, here are some examples of how you might connect with and invite people who have never heard of you before. You might, and this is something I did, you might get a guest article published on a relevant site, a site that your audience visits, and you might make sure, you should, in my opinion, make sure that your article includes a specific call to action for your free or paid sample, which is going to be layer 2 that we get to in a second. So you want to post in places that allow you to link back to something, and you want that link to go to, hey, grab this free email course. Hey, get on a free training call with me, et cetera, et cetera. That's just one example. You might also create and run a Facebook ad, an Instagram stories ad, Pinterest ad, LinkedIn ad. The most profitable ads for Ali and myself right now are Instagram stories ads. We find a very low cost per conversion, and sometimes we actually just sell the item itself directly from the ad. It's not like add to this, to that, to this. Sometimes we're selling something that's a couple $100s or under, and the ad takes you straight to the page that you can buy it, and we find that we are converting. So your funnel may be short, it may be long, but we'll talk about that. A more long-term strategy to get people that you don't know is build up search engine juice on Google, on Pinterest, on YouTube. Those are all search engines. And make sure that each piece of content that somebody might be landing on invites people to one of your free or paid samples. These are just a few examples. We actually have in your dashboard, that if you join us, in your dashboard right now is a list of over 60 ways you can promote yourself, and is our framework called, it's basically a framework of what are all the possible categories of ways that you can get in front of new people. And we have broken it down into engaged, borrowed, pushed, shared, discovered. Those things are explained in more detail inside your dashboard. But in addition to all of that, we're obviously going to work with you specifically during the funnel, during the intensive, before the intensive, after the intensive, to find ways that are specific to you. For Allie and my health and wellness brand, we chose a long-term approach of building up search engine optimization. And that is how new people find our website every single day. And it's how it makes a few $1,000s in affiliate income every single month, is just through search engine traffic. That's a longer term strategy. It didn't get there overnight. So now the health and wellness business makes that kind of money. But at the beginning, if it's like we need to monetize this and we're only a month in, a few months in, there would be a different strategy in place. There was a different strategy in place. You guys get the point. Connecting and inviting people who already do know you. You might, yes, invite your email subscribers to a specific action. Create an Instagram story with a specific call to action. Target anyone who's visited your website in the last 60 days, you can target them with a Facebook or Instagram ad. Anyone who's visited your website in the last 40 days, whatever you want to choose, you can target them with a Pinterest ad. There are ways to set these things up. Or maybe anyone who's viewed one of your Facebook Lives. Who here does Facebook Lives? Who here gets on video and does live broadcasts, either on Facebook, Instagram? You can actually, and I hope, you might already know this, and so I hope you'll forgive me for saying something you already know, but inside Business Manager, I don't know why I'm Business Manager, but inside Business Manager, which is your area that you run ads on Facebook and Instagram, inside Business Manager, you can actually set up a custom audience for free. It's all free until you start running ads, of everyone who has viewed at least 25% or at least 10 seconds of any of these Facebook Lives. You can choose which ones in the last 60 days. So that lets you know that if somebody has watched at least 10 seconds, then they've heard me introduce myself and they know what I do. They've seen my face, they've heard my voice, they know what I do. I can target just those people with an ad, whether it be on Facebook or I can turn and target them on Instagram. So things like that are ways to take advantage of the people already visiting your website or already following you on Instagram and interacting with you or already watching your Facebook Lives. So even if you don't necessarily have a large audience, you might not have 10,000 people following you on Instagram, but if you're doing lives and you're interacting and you're engaging with people, you might have an audience of less than 1,000 people. That's fine to target with ads. Okay. You guys get the point. Allie, you'll be letting me know if there are any questions in the chat. Let's move on to second layer, second phase, second stage, the sample stage. This is where you invite somebody to sample what you're able to do. So for Allie, when she starts her Instagram accounts from scratch, in the first stage, what Allie does is a lot of manual engagement on Instagram. The person does not know her at all, has never heard of her before, but she's manually engaging with them on Instagram. She goes and finds people through hashtags. She goes and finds people by what other accounts they might be following. Let's say, because she has a travel one. So for example, she's setting up this travel Instagram and she wants people to buy her guide to touring Japan as a solo traveler. Let's say she has that. And this is obviously not a coaching or consultant example, just using it for ease of use, whatever. So she wants to sell her $60 guide to traveling, touring Japan for the first time. And she creates her new Instagram travel account. Allie would go find a bunch of other influential travel accounts on Instagram. And she would find ones that maybe have 1,000 followers all the way up to ones that have 500,000 followers. And she would I would recommend focusing in that area of accounts that have maybe 5,000 to 25,000 followers. And so she'd make her list of her top 20, her top 50 travel accounts, and she would go follow those travel accounts. But then more specifically, she would start to engage with and interact with the people interacting with their content. So the travel account number A, write that down. You didn't know that. Travel account number A, she goes and sees that they posted something earlier this morning. It has 100 comments on it. She starts to click back on every single one of those 100 people. She looks at their account. They look like somebody who might be interested in travel. Then she goes and likes a couple of their pictures and then leaves a genuine comment and maybe starts following the person. Who knows? She does that 20 times today. She does it 20 times tomorrow. She does it 50 times when she has a little more time. And guess what? Eventually people are going to be like, who is this Ali Super Travel that just commented on my stuff? It's actually Ali Coffee and Passport, but who's Ali Super Travel?
And she sounds amazing too, but what Ali wouldn't do is copy and paste the same comment over and over or use a bot. She used I use true manual engagement because that's what works.
Yeah, and that's how you
actually the fastest.
You've grown those accounts of 10, 17, 20, so and so 1,000 followers through that. Anyway, so this is what Ali would pursue. She would go connect with the people who are already making a statement. I'm interested in travel content because I'm following these travel, Instagram accounts, and I'm showing up and commenting on their pictures. And she would start to engage with them. So that's what she did in layer number 1. And it was free. Did I say anything that cost any money? No, I did not. What's great is people are going to be like, who's this Ali Coffee and Passport? And they're going to go back to her account. They're going to see that her pictures are very organized. All of her content is purposeful. The bio description lets people know what she does. And then the one link in her bio invites them to her, her top X, tips on traveling in Japan. It's a video series, almost like a little email course, and they can sign up for it for free. Boom. And that starts her sequence of events that's going to happen to pitch her $60 product that she has. Okay, so that's an example. So in this free sample that she now has linked from her Instagram bio, she has some choices. She could do a free email course. She could do a discovery call, a planning call, prescription call. Obviously, these are options for you. You could do a free live training. You could do a free pre-recorded training. You could put a workbook together or a checklist. Again, that's not usually our recommendation, because if you're going to ask somebody for $1,000, $2,500, $10,000 in a couple weeks or in a few days or in a few moments, we don't recommend that all that you've given them is a checklist. People who want to pay you to do something with you or have something done for them don't want your checklist on how to do it themselves, for the most part. Your free sample could also be a template or a tool. The one that we sell for $17/$37 is actually a template. It helps you plug in your content ideas to 100 different ideas, or more than 100 different templates, if you will, formulas. From a free sample, you can move straight into building, or you can move from your free sample to a paid sample. Keep in mind, we're not saying that you always have to offer your paid sample right after you give people a free sample. We happen to when we have the no-brainer pricing set up. You sign up for, in our case, one of our major funnels is you sign up for a free email course that goes out over 5 days. And as soon as you sign up for it, we say, hey, thank you, you're signed up, check your email. Also, we have this offer for you. For the next 2 hours, we're selling this great thing. Here it is, here it is, here it is. It's directly related to what you just signed up for. It's going to be directly related to what we pitch you in a few days that you won't know about at that time. And it's only $17 for the next 2 hours. So we do it immediately. We're not saying you have to. There are other times we set up a funnel where we give you a free sample, and it will be a day later, 5 days later, 2-3 weeks later when you're offered a paid sample. So we'll work that out with you guys when you come to the intensives or on your one-on-one calls. There is timing to it, but it can be right after. Your paid sample can be anything your free sample is. So paid sample being Tripwire in marketer speak. It can be a workshop. That's a great one, especially for those of you who are coaches, like a short, very focused workshop. A template or a tool, a mini course, a consultation call. I know some of you have basically a starter call, that's $500, $250, $100. 47, where you sell the call for some, low or insanely low price, or it's your regular price, but it's meant as that kind of introductory. This is a sample of what it would be like to work with me for the next 3 months. Or it can be, your paid sample can still be a checklist or a resource that's very extensive. Okay. Any questions on paid samples, my friends? We are moving on to stage 3. And that is the number 1. So I'll try again. Stage 3. Build. So this is where you've heard people say, oh, nurture your audience, send out a nurture sequence, nurture them via email. What they're really saying is build relationship. And this is what happens. You invited somebody, they met you, or they heard about you online and they came back to your website, blah, blah, blah. They signed up for your free sample. You offered them a paid or not. Now it's time to build a relationship. Build a relationship, build a relationship, build a relationship. In building a relationship, you're going to build motivation, momentum, all of that good stuff to get your client ready to actually invest with you. Here is the key thing to note. Please listen to me. If you phased out because I'm talking too much, phase back in. That's not even the word I'm looking for. Zoned out, zone back in. I speak English. Listen to this one statement, and then you can just disown me and never talk to me again. Please listen to this one statement. The building stage can last for a minute, a second, or it can last indefinitely. And that is the danger. So a lot of people get into this, raise your hand if this is you, they get into this cycle of just creating content. Oh, value. I want to offer so much free value for my audience. It comes from this beautiful place. Oh, I'm just going to, let me email them this for free and give them this free resource and this and that and this and that for free. And then the build stage lasts for 2 years. And then all of a sudden you have this audience full of people who are not used to buying from you and are not taking you up on your offer, or you just find that you're not pitching it enough, or that you don't know how to then transition. Wait, I've been giving, how do I transition into actually saying, give me money for the same thing I just did for free? OMG, what am I gonna do? So raise your hand if any of that, that's the problem. It can last for a minute. You can pitch somebody immediately, and there are people who are getting sales immediately, or it can last indefinitely. And we want to help you find the right amount of time for you, because it really does depend on what you're trying to sell and where they came from. But building can look like an email sequence. It can look like a series of authority building ads. You see an ad delivered to you. It's the first time you've ever seen someone. A couple days later, maybe you see an ad where they've been interviewed by XYZ newspaper or publication that you respect. You're like, maybe they're a real person. A few days later, you see an ad with them in a picture next to somebody you admire, et cetera, et cetera. So you can do authority building ads if you want to invest money into kind of building, or you can do things like your email sequence, your one-on-one consultation. Maybe the free sample you offered was, get on a call with me. I'm going to give you a 30-day action plan for how to blankety blank with your life. Get on this call. The call is then your relationship building moment. That 30 minutes, that 45 minutes that you're talking to them is your place to build motivation and momentum inside of them. And by the time they get off the call, you might have already pitched and closed your offer. Or that might have just been the initial building and they still are on your email list and you're sending them out a sequence. A one-on group training can be you're building a series of live trainings. If you think about it right now, we're on a one-on group training. You can do a series of live trainings, series of Instagram lives, Facebook lives, series of pre-recorded audio, video, blog series. Any of these things can build. And you are trying to, in one sense, gain trust and all of that. But I got to tell you guys, people are not actually looking for, they don't have to be in this like huge, deeply trusting relationship a lot of times. They have to be motivated to make a change, and they have to be aware that you are a likely source for that transformation. That's what you're doing. Going back to the beginning really quick, you said that you believe you can help people. So I'm assuming that you're saying you can help people with transformation, either in their business, their life, their family, their home, their faith, their whatever it is you help with. You believe you can help people with transformation. The best way for you to do that for a lot of you is to actually get that person in a one-on-one or one-on-group service and be paid for your time, be paid for your content, be paid for your experience, so that you can devote your time to helping people, right? If you're not being paid well, you're going to have to split your time with a part-time job or your full-time job, and you're not going to have as much energy of your own available for your clients. So the best scenario to help them is to give them your full attention through a group program or a one-on-one, and the best way to do that is to get paid. So you've got to build not towards trust and let's hold hands and let's sing songs together necessarily, but towards, this is a person who can help me with the transformation that I'm looking for. That's what they need to believe. All right, now we're done with building in theory, and then we're moving on to the offer phase. You might make your offer during a webinar. You might make your offer on a one-on-one call. You might make your offer like we just did on a small group call. We're on a small group call with you guys right now, and we said, here's our program. It's related to what we're talking about. We know that we can help people. We've helped people with a similar program. We actually want to see your face in person, blah, 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 blah. That's how we made our offer on a group call, right? You can make your offer in an email series. There are a lot of different ways, and we'll work with you to know the best way to make your offer. And then finally, fifth section, which these things do cycle. So you're not gonna you're not done. That's the one thing, is you're not done when you make an offer. You're not done after you've made an offer. Even if the person said yes, you're not done. Even if the person said, no, I don't want your offer, you're not done. You now have to solve. And you're either solving your client's problem, what they came to you for. Oh, my program was actually the solution. You went through my 10-week program, you went through my 3-month one-on-one calls, you went through my group program, and now you have the transformation. Now you're on your way to blank. So you either solve for your client's problem in stage 5, or you solve for why your potential client decided not to buy. You're solving. So for customers, for people who did say yes to you during your offer, you're serving them. You're providing the service, you're providing the product, you're getting feedback from them, you're integrating some of that feedback and you know, kind of pivoting or moving around things inside your product or service. You're getting testimonials, and we're going to give you inside the intensive that if you decide to join us, we're going to give you a template for how to ask for testimonials. And so, like, actually, let me put an asterisk there. So Allie and I.
Yeah, and you should be asking for testimonials. If you have helped people, it's so rare to have somebody say no. Like, if you know you've helped them, if you're asking in a good way, they're happy to say, oh yeah, this or this specific part really helped. You don't want a generic one too. So
yeah. And the template we give you is going to make it easier to ask, and also easier to get a high quality testimonial that you can use on your sales pages, sales emails, to actually sell more in the future. You can make them videos, you can make them an image, you can make them text, etc. So you're serving, and then guess what? When you're done serving, which you're really not ever done serving, but you guys get the point, you can invite your client to something new. Maybe they did a one-off call with you, and now it's time to invite them to your 3-month program. Maybe they did a group program with you, and now it's time to invite them to a one-on-one offer. Maybe they did a one-on-one offer with you, and it's time to invite them to your monthly membership. That's your passive income. Or you're inviting them to something else, but something new, something that expands on what they did, or the next layer or level of what you help with. If you have non-customers, right? And generally, most people end up in the non-customer pile. That's so terrible. Section, whatever. In that, you know, you got on a webinar, you offered your product to 23 people. You had 2 people say yes. That means 21 people for now have said no. You're sending out your email, you're sending it to 1,000 people, you know, 10 people take you up on it, 990 have said no for now. And what we want to do is assess. So you can do this one-on-one. Here is pro tip. You made your offer on the webinar or email or whatever, and you had your, you know, 990 people or your 21 people say no. Pro tip, send them an email. All of them, send them all an email and say something along the lines of, I've just unlocked a limited number of XYZ starter calls for free for you. Hey, you know, it's Maciel here, or whatever, you know, enter your name. It's so-and-so here, and I've just unlocked, you know, 5 blankety blank starter calls. Give it a name. What are they starting in? What are they doing? What do they leave with? A 10-day plan, a 30-day plan, or whatever. For you, what we're going to talk about on this call, better wording, is XYZ. You'll leave with A, B, and C. And we'll also talk about ways that we can work together in the future. You could even say, like, I noticed you didn't take me up on XYZ group offer. Totally fine. We'll talk about other ways that I might be able to help you. So then you're offering those one-on-one calls. You've limited the spots, 5, 20, however many you want to do. And guess what? You get on those calls, you learn exactly why people didn't buy. You're hearing their words. You're learning, oh, they just didn't understand that the program was XYZ. Oh, I'm going to update my sales page, make that more clear, and also convert this person into the exact thing they said no to, because they just didn't understand it. Or you're going to hear their words and go, oh my gosh, this person actually, they want something more involved. I was offering them a group program. They'd rather pay 5 times more and get my help one-on-one. Okay, cool. For the same 8 weeks that I'm doing my group program, I'll talk with you one-on-one for those 8 weeks. And here's the price. It's 5 times. It's 10 times, whatever. You guys get the point. You can also send out a survey. There's an asterisk next to that because we're going to provide you a template of how to email people and ask for feedback on why they didn't join a program, and then a few questions you can ask. Some people choose to do the whole, I saw you decided not to buy. Do you not like me anymore? Or I guess you're not really invested in your faith and your growth in your relationship with God because you didn't buy my program.
We've seen these. You've all seen these in your inbox, right? Like, I'm sorry you're going to stay a loser this year, Allie, by not investing in my program.
I'm sorry.
Like, unsubscribe.
I'm sorry you don't like growth and you don't want to be a healthy, loving parent of your children. Please, we've seen it. You've seen it. We've seen it. We all seen it. We're going to give you a much better template. It's just, let's not even compare them. That's crap. We're going to give you a really meaningful way to ask people why they didn't join so that you can learn from them. And then here's the deal. If for some reason you're like, I'm absolutely not surveying my people, I'm absolutely not getting on these one-on-one calls, I'm ignoring your advice in this area, Allie and Regina, cool. You still have data that can help you assess. You have data. It shows you the open rates on your emails. It shows you when people dropped off of your webinar. It started with this many people. It ended with this many people. Oh my gosh. I had 30 people on the webinar. By the time I was making my offer, there were only 5 people on the webinar. I can use that data to go, okay, 25 people dropped off. X percentage of people are dropping off. Before I even make my pitch, how do I make this part of my webinar more appealing, more engaging, more meaningful to people? So at the very least, you have data, and we're going to show you how to pay attention to that data and make tweaks based on it. And then after you're done assessing, we're re-offering. You're offering them the same exact thing because now they understand it better. You're offering them an upsell because they actually wanted more interaction with you and were willing to pay more. You're offering them a downsell. Oh, you're not able to do the group program. Okay, get my get my paid workshop. It's $100. It tells you how to do this. Oh, you're not going to do my one-on-one? Do you want the group program? So you can do a downsell, which for some of you, this might be where you put your paid sample into your funnel. You might have done invite to a free sample, build, offer. Everyone who says no, I assess. I see are you sure you don't want this thing? You really don't? Okay. Do you want my paid sample? It's $47 and it will show you how to do it yourself. So for all of those of you who were like, I don't want to raise my pricing, Regina. I want to make sure that I'm still serving people at a certain price point. I don't only want to have, $2,500 offers. I totally get it. This can be where that belongs. You did set yourself up to get paid well for what you're doing. For anyone who that did not work for, now you offer your $100 workshop, your $30 ebook, your $500 course. And it's a lower investment for them, downsell. The other thing you might offer them is something free because maybe the person still needed more building with you. They needed more time. Maybe they did need more trust. What that really means when people say know, like, trust, how many of you have heard that the know, like, trust factor, people have to know you, they have to like you, and they have to trust you to buy from you? Absolute bull snot, in my opinion. People have to believe that you can help them with their transformation to buy from you. Allie will even tell the story.
I spent $3,000 with a coach that I did not like, but I 100% trusted that he would get me the transformation, and he did. And I did end up liking him. I had misjudged him a little bit, but anyway, you won't buy if you don't trust somebody. Period. But you can buy from somebody you don't like. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So if you don't like us, you can still buy from us.
Yeah, it's funny. So, but that's the point. So you may instead offer them something free that continues to build up to their trusting that you can help with their transformation. They don't have to like you. You guys can hate red hair and hate curly hair and hate, that I had screaming kids in the background for the first X minutes of this thing. You can hate all of that, but still want to invest in the transformation, still go, this is logical. Now that they explained invite, sample, build, offer, solve, the different types of things you're solving for, it makes complete sense. And I want to set this up for myself because they were the ones who presented this to me, because they don't sound like complete bumbling idiots. I think that I will invest in this experience with them. I'll be around other people. I'll have their one-on-one attention. Oh, they've had successful businesses in the past, blah, 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 blah. I trust that they can help with transformation. And you might hate curly hair and red hair the whole entire time that we help you with your transformation, and it won't matter. And then by the end, you'll be like, red hair is my favorite. Curly hair is my favorite. Okay, I'm done being ridiculous. That is a full stack sales funnel. That is what we're going to help you put together in person, in real life. And then just keep in mind,